everybody, and welcome to Anfield. We are here with AXA, and the topic of conversation today is health, physical and mental health. AXA has developed this Mind Health Wellbeing study, and it looks at the condition of mind health across 11 different countries. Over 11,000 people have taken part across Europe and Asia. It examines how we react to stress, how we choose to diagnose mental illness, and how that differs depending on age and gender, and what we can do as individuals to improve our sense of happiness and well-being. It also marks the launch of the AXA Mind Health Index, which will allow us to monitor those changes over time. AXA's approach to this index is to support individuals, businesses, healthcare professionals and policymakers in their approach to mind health. And the aim overall is to prevent illness and to promote happiness and well-being. We have Yana Daniels, who's a Liverpool footballer. We have Colm Smith, who is the strength and conditioning coach with Liverpool, and Dr. Francesca Champ, who deals with the mind of elite athletes as well. Yana, it's been such a successful season.
Everyone has like a positive mindset and everyone is just positive, and it's a good environment to be in. You
all have your own jobs and your own expectations. How does pressure feel?
I think at the club we recognise everybody has an input, everybody is valued. And I think pressure feels different for everybody as well. That might manifest itself in physical ways, or that might be mental as well. So things like overthinking, ruminating, perhaps doubting ourselves. And I think staff and players experience that, but probably over time, people learn to cope with it in different ways.
Can you teach team spirit, or is it all about recruiting the right kind of character in a team?
All teams have to be made up of different characters, different personalities. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I think the first step would probably be unity and a purpose. And I think it's through experiences of success, but also experiences of challenge, that you become stronger and that team spirit perhaps solidifies. But I certainly don't think that's a short-term piece. It's something that's done as part of a journey over time. And I think that's for staff and players as well.
But I always find that amazing how supportive the girls are to each other. When we're winning, when we're losing, when it's a challenging time, when somebody's having a challenging time, be it through injury, the players are very much together, and there's always that empathy between the players, from the most senior players to the younger players.
In terms of you spotting these signs when a player is feeling like they might want to talk, or their mental health is maybe not in a place where they want it to be.
We sit down as a multidisciplinary team and we highlight any player whose behaviours have changed over the week, and they might then be a red flag for somebody who requires additional support, or just to check in. The best person to check in might be Colm or Chris, our sports therapist, who might have a really good relationship with an injured player. So yeah, I think part of my role is very much to be involved, but to be distant. Can you have a little bit more of an objective lens around what's going on a day-to-day basis?
And the manager must be a bit of a psychologist as well, where he might think...
He thinks he is, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Like, he changed so much for a lot of players, and finding the love for the game back, and giving you a lot of confidence, and you were a different person outside of football too. You come home and you're relaxed and you're more happy, even if you're losing. He gives you that confidence, or that belief it's okay to be losing as long as you perform how you should be. And I had a lot of injuries, so I think that was mentally hard. I had to quit football for 2.5 years, and not knowing if I could back or not, or if I could still be playing or not. So I just closed that chapter out of my life. I was working in a Zilba as a bus driver. I was just doing all sorts to get my mind off it and just start a new life, because all you've been doing from 6 years old is playing football. So I think injuries is a tougher spot for football players.
Are you proud of yourself for coming back the way you have?
Yeah, kind of proud that I've been through it, and I adjusted, and I'm still playing, and yes, I'm happy.
So the end of the season versus the start of the season, what is the most difficult part of the campaign to approach from a footballer's perspective?
In the beginning it's really relaxed, but everyone's standards are getting higher and higher as well, and everyone just is more serious about it because it's getting closer and everyone wants to achieve it.
AXA has developed this Mind Health Wellbeing study, and health is even more important when you're at this moment of the season. Colm, as if you getting the players fit at the start of the season and keeping them fit when it comes to the end.
Coming up to Christmas, you're like a firefighter. So you're trying to keep everybody on the pitch and you're trying to put out fires. But no, the start of pre-season is normally the bit of the season that I kind of enjoy a little bit, because you can push players a little bit. The weather's normally quite good. And then you're coming into Christmas. A lot of it's keeping players fresh, keeping players healthy, especially when you get to the adult level. It's just making sure that little niggles aren't turning into big problems.
And for you, Fran?
Psychologically, everything fluctuates across the season. So for me, it's recognising that as we turn past Christmas, Column's battling to keep them on the pitch physically. Psychologically, it's quite different. At individual level, some of them will have contracts that are up at the end of the season, so they'll be battling for how do I ensure that I get a new contract in place if my contract isn't going to be renewed. So it's really easy to go into a bit of a downward spiral in terms of your psychological readiness to play, but also your mental health after that Christmas break, because I think it signifies this is now coming to an end, and ends are quite scary. Even if the result is positive for the team, at an individual level, it can be, really challenging. So it's recognising who are the players that might need more support psychologically, individually, and at a group level, how can we get them? So we've done some work recently about perspective and gratitude, and for them to recognise that they are more than footballers, although football's really important to them.
And Yana, just in terms of staying physically and mentally well enough to take part in staying the right way to be fit enough to play?
I think the more you play, the fitter you will be. So I think it's harder for the ones that don't play as regular to stay fit and to be able to play that 90 out of the blue if you haven't played as many games as often. At the moment, I'm looking at, I've been playing loads of games, so I feel sharp and fit, probably thanks to Colin, but I don't want to say that too loud. Yeah, that's it now.
Things like sleep, rest, how important are they?
If you take sleep and nutrition and you just kind of tick them two boxes, we're already probably 90% of the way there. We do look at sleep, we do look at sleep quality, we look at mood and fatigue every morning. If somebody reports a bad sleep, if they report it twice, then we'll flag that and we'll address that with the player individually. But similar with nutrition, and it's massively overlooked within sport. It's a massive area that we look at a lot and try to help the players out as much as we can. In our roles as part of the backroom team, is we just have to make sure that everything is right for the player. And that normally starts on the Tuesday before we play on a Sunday. That normally starts with us kind of saying to the players, let's keep our standards high and let's build that resilience as the weeks go on. From the Tuesday session, I might have to have some strong words in the gym on a Tuesday to get players to focus on the recovery, to get ready for the week after. I'm normally quite lightly spoken in the gym. Is that right, Yana?
Yana, how do you think the team has embodied this know you can spirit this season?
We're such a close group. You can just feel the support around you, and everyone will just back each other up. If you had a bad game, you will have at least 2, 3, 4 players texting you okay? And the other way around as well. If you had a really good game, they're there as well to give you compliments, what is nice. So yeah, it's just a good atmosphere. So everyone can do whatever they want really for me.